The Mediterranean Sea is a sea connected to the Atlantic Ocean, surrounded by the Mediterranean basin and almost completely enclosed by land. On the north by Western and Southern Europe and Anatolia. On the south by North Africa. And on the east by the Levant. Although the sea is sometimes considered a part of the Atlantic Ocean, it is usually referred to as a separate body of water. Geological evidence indicates that around 5.9 million years ago, the Mediterranean was cut off from the Atlantic and was partly or completely desiccated over a period of some 600,000 years during the Messinian salinity crisis before being refilled by the Zanclean flood about 5.3 million years ago. It covers an area of about 2,500,000 square kilometers, representing 0.7% of the global ocean surface. But its connection to the Atlantic via the Strait of Gibraltar, the narrow strait that connects the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea and separates Spain in Europe from Morocco in Africa, is only 14 kilometers wide. In oceanography, it is sometimes called the Eurafrican Mediterranean Sea, the European Mediterranean Sea, or the African Mediterranean Sea to distinguish it from Mediterranean seas elsewhere. The Mediterranean Sea has an average depth of 1,500 meters. The sea was an important route for merchants and travelers of ancient times, facilitating trade and cultural exchange between peoples of the region. The history of the Mediterranean region is crucial to understanding the origins and development of many modern societies. The Roman Empire maintained nautical hegemony over the sea for centuries. The countries surrounding the Mediterranean in clockwise order are Spain, France, Monaco, Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Albania, Greece, Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. Malta and Cyprus are island countries in the sea. In addition, the Gaza Strip and the British Overseas Territories of Gibraltar and Akrotiri and Dhekelia have coastlines on the sea. The ancient Egyptians called the Mediterranean Wadjwr, Wadj Wadj. The ancient Greeks called the Mediterranean simply Hethalassa, or Hethalassa Hecat, Hemus. The Romans called it Mare Magnum. The term Mare Mediterraneum appears later. Solinus apparently used this in the 3rd century, but the earliest extant witness to it is in the 6th century. In Isidore of Seville, it means in the middle of land, inland, in Latin, a compound of medius. The Latin word is a calque of Greek mesogeos. From ge, the original meaning may have been the sea in the middle of the earth, rather than the sea enclosed by land. Ancient Iranians called it the Roman Sea. In classic Persian texts was called the Riya-e-Rom, which may be from Middle Persian form Zar-i-Rom. The Carthaginians called it the Syrian Sea. In ancient Syrian texts, Phoenician epics and in the Hebrew Bible, it was primarily known as the Great Sea, Ha-Yam Ha-Gadol, which is sometimes translated as Western Sea. Another name was the Sea of the Philistines, from the people inhabiting a large portion of its shores near the Israelites. In modern Hebrew, it is called Ha-Yam Ha-Tikhon, the Middle Sea. In classic Persian texts was called the Riya-e-Sam, the Western Sea, or Syrian Sea. In modern Arabic, it is known as Al-Bahar al-Mutawassit, the Sea of the Romans, or the Roman Sea. At first, that name referred to only the eastern Mediterranean, but it was later extended to the whole Mediterranean. Other Arabic names were Bahar al-Sam and Bahar al-Maghrib. In Turkish, it is the Akdeniz, the White Sea. In Ottoman, which sometimes means only the Aegean Sea, the origin of the name is not clear, as it is not known in earlier Greek, Byzantine or Islamic sources. It may be to contrast with the Black Sea. In Persian, the name was translated as Bahar-i-Safid, which was also used in later Ottoman Turkish. It is probably the origin of the colloquial Greek phrase Aspre Thalassa. Johann Knobloch claims that in classical antiquity, cultures in the Levant used colors to refer to the cardinal points. Black referred to the north, yellow or blue to east, red to south, and white to west. This would explain the Greek Aspri Thalassa, the Bulgarian Byalo Mo, the Turkish Akdeniz, and the Arab nomenclature described above. Lit. White Sea. Several ancient civilizations were located around the Mediterranean shores and were greatly influenced by their proximity to the sea. It provided routes for trade, colonization, and war, as well as food for numerous communities throughout the ages. Due to the shared climate, geology, and access to the sea, cultures centered on the Mediterranean tended to have some extent of intertwined culture and history. Two of the most notable Mediterranean civilizations in classical antiquity were the Greek city-states and the Phoenicians, both of which extensively colonized the coastlines of the Mediterranean. Later, when Augustus founded the Roman Empire, the Romans are